Just say yes, figure it out later. How smart is this approach? Is there a way to lean into the unknown while quickly determining if this move is in your best interest? Absolutely. In this video, we'll talk about how you can identify the best opportunities for you to help you reach your one great goal so you can confidently accept the great options coming your way and invite even more of them. So first, let's explain what a one great goal is. Back in 2008, I wrote a book called One Great Goal. That book focuses on clarifying your goals so you can discover your one great goal, which I'll explain a little bit later. So here's the big picture. When it comes to saying yes to opportunities and figuring out the details, you want to ask yourself this question: does this opportunity take me toward my one great goal, or does it pull me away from my one great goal? Whenever my clients come to me and are telling me about an opportunity, it's like, well, let's ask the question, does this take me toward my one great goal or away from it? And often that brings crystal clarity, because the truth is, once you know what your one great goal is, it's a path for you to build your company to the next level, which again, I'll explain in a moment. But the question for you to know right away is just to ask yourself, does this opportunity take me toward my one great goal or away from? And if it's a yes, if it takes me toward, it's a yes, then it's probably the right decision. Now, sometimes it'll be a yes, it does take me toward it, but there might be some other pieces to it that we're not quite ready for yet, or fill in the blank. So then it's important to discern like when is the best timing to take that next step. So that's okay as well. It's not like it's an immediate yes, but that first question gives you a lot of clarity. And my story at the end shows the importance of seeing the big picture. So stick around to hear that story and then how to discern whether or not to still move forward, even if it does take you toward your goal. When it comes to saying yes to opportunities and then figuring out the details, know that one great goals are often revenue goals, but not always. So let me break it down for you. When I'm taking someone through the one great goal process, the first thing we do is we answer this question: what are the top 10 things that you're tolerating in your business right now that you wish you weren't? The reason this question is so powerful is because if I ask an entrepreneur what they want, a lot of times they'll just glaze over. It's like, well, there's so many things that I want, but I don't even know where to start. Or I don't even know if it's okay for me to ask for those things, right? But when I ask the question, what are 10 things you're tolerating in your business right now? It's like immediately they'll start to rattle things off. So take a moment, and you might want to pause this video, but take a moment to write down the top 10 things that you're tolerating right now. And those things could be working all the time. It could be not making enough money in my business. It could be not feeling supported by my team. So writing those things down starts to bring you clarity, because once you know what those things are, then you can figure out what the opposite of those are that you really want. So for example, if you're not making enough money in your company, how much do you want to make? And a lot of times what I see is when we ask that question, the client's like, yeah, I'm not making enough. But when I ask how much they do really want to make, they're not sure, and they're missing clarity in this area. And when you're missing clarity in your revenue goal, that can keep you stuck for a long time. And so once they figure it out, once they get clear on their revenue goal and they add it to their goal list, it's like there's this freedom in that experience, and suddenly they start to become propelled forward. Once you've asked the question and you realize that yes, this opportunity does move me toward my one great goal, here's the next question you want to ask. And this is what I was alluding to before. You want to ask, do I actually want this opportunity? Because you're still the CEO, you're still the business owner, and yes, it could move you towards your one great goal, but maybe there's a part of you that has grown out of this opportunity, or it doesn't work for you anymore. As an example, I used to travel all the time. I did a lot of traveling, I did a lot of speaking, and as my son, after I had my son and he was growing up, I started to realize that I didn't want to be on the road all the time. I definitely didn't want to be on the road as much as I used to. And so there were still opportunities that were coming in for me to do keynote speeches and for me to travel and, to deliver talks in a lot of places across the country. And those opportunities would have moved me toward our one great goal, which was our revenue goal at the time. But did I want those opportunities anymore? The answer was no. And I knew in my heart of hearts, it's like I knew in my gut that I didn't want that life anymore. And I knew that there was another way. I knew there were ways that I could still get my message out to the world. And then you know what happened? The pandemic. The pandemic happened, and all those live events were just gone. So for 2 years, there were no in-person speaking engagements. And in some ways, it was like, initially, it was a big panic. And then after that, I thought, no, this is this is exactly probably what a lot of us needed, right? We needed this break to get really clear. We didn't want the pandemic, but we needed that break to get really clear on how we wanted to structure our lives and our businesses. And it gave me permission to see that there was another way, and that I could have the same impact on video or virtually that I could by getting on a plane and being in person. So it flipped that on its back. And so then what I saw is that I could still speak, right? I could still train, but I didn't have to get on a plane to do it anymore. And yet I could still grow my company. So again, this goes back to, yes, it moves me toward my one great goal. No, this isn't an opportunity I want anymore. And then what else is possible? What else is possible instead? And sometimes you might need a mentor or a coach to help guide you through this, right? To see the other possibilities that are there, or even to see the blind spots that you might have. What I want you to get is that it's okay to say no, because there's a million possibilities and ways to still get to your one great goal. By the way, let me know in the comments below if you have a hard time saying no to opportunities. Now, I've been talking a lot about and referencing one great goal, and I want you to know that I've done multiple videos on the one great goal process, so you can definitely hang out here and take a deeper dive if you desire. The one piece that I'll add, just so you're clear, is once you've come up with the list of things that you're tolerating, and then next to that, you come up with the list of goals that you really want. The process that you'll find on the other videos will take you through a clarifying formula that at the end will show you exactly what your one great goal is. And that's what I'm talking about. And it's worth doing that work. And also, since you're here and are clearly my type of entrepreneur, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And finally, once you decide you do want an opportunity, it's an absolute yes. It's taking me toward my one great goal. And deep down in my heart of hearts, I know this opportunity is for me. Then say yes with enthusiasm, and don't worry about the how. Because I think a lot of times we say yes and it's like, well, how is this going to happen? Your job is to simply look for the next step that reveals itself. Once you've made a decision, once you're all in on something, the next step always shows up. But it's up to you to then take that step. And often I find that those steps are way outside of our comfort zone, which is where most people will stop, right? They don't want to do the thing, they don't do the thing, they stop, they don't move toward their one great goal or this opportunity that they've said yes to. So again, don't worry about the how, just take the next step in front of you, and then the next step will be revealed, and so on until you get to where you want to go. As I mentioned before, I told you I would share a story at the end on opportunities. And a few years ago, I was presented with an opportunity which at face value seemed like a great opportunity, and it definitely moved my company forward. And so I said yes to it. I said yes, but I'll say this, it was an 80% yes. There was always this 20% that was a little bit off. And with this particular opportunity, what I noticed is that it was definitely weighted more heavily in favor of the other party that was involved. And it definitely helped them probably a lot more. Now, I knew that in some ways I was going to be giving more. I knew that this was probably better for them than it was for me. And I stayed with this opportunity for about 2 years. At some point I hit a wall with it. And it was coming to the end of the year of this second year with this opportunity. And they were presenting additional opportunities and additional things that would be part of this. And it was so tempting. I can tell you, it was just like so tempting. I was just being pulled to say yes. They wanted me to say yes. I could feel the yes, and I almost said yes. And then I said, you know what, let me just think about this, because sometimes when you're being pulled to the yes, but there's a part of you that's still a no, you need to take a time out. So I just said, you know what, just give me a couple days and I'll get back to you. And over those couple days, it's like I waffled back and forth. I talked to one of my coaches, I talked to a good friend, and I just kind of swimming around in this. It's like I couldn't make a decision. And then someone said to me, they're like, the fact that you haven't said yes yet kind of says everything. Like, what are you really thinking? And I realized that what I was really thinking is that I didn't want this opportunity anymore. It had been great when it was great. It was always kind of weighted more in their favor. And at the end of the day, it really wasn't taking my company anywhere. And so finally I had the guts to just politely say, no, thank you, and thank you. And I stepped out. Now I can tell you the second I said no, it was like 100 pounds was lifted off my shoulders. I had been carrying this opportunity like I had to do it for so long. And the truth was I didn't have to do it. And when I said no and I let it go, it was like it set me free. Up next, do what you love and the money will follow. And remember, your 2X is waiting for you too.